slave something.
How that sound?
ANNO, DOMINI, ANNO, DOMINI. The hustle is real. ANNO, DOMINI got that heat.
I've got ANNO DOMINI Nation Inner Circle member SDot on the line right now. Some of y'all might know him as Sean Delaney. He's got a new track titled Rewind that was just placed on the Inner Circle Mixtape Volume 4. It's the kind of track I like to describe as music with a meaning, and definitely lives up to its title and will literally take you back in time and resurrect memories lost and forgotten, as well as memories that we could never and probably should never forget. What's good? What's happening, SDot? Are you with us, brother?
I'm here, man. I'm here. I just heard you, speak about the track, and you put it in such poetry. That was really good.
I appreciate that, man. You know, real poets recognize real poets, I guess. It's good stuff. It's good to have you with us tonight. It's the first broadcast of Inner Circle Radio. It's a crazy, innovative movement ANNO DOMINI's got going on with the Inner Circle and everything he's making and made happen. I know you got to agree with that.
Absolutely. I mean, without him, all of us Inner Circle artists, there's so many people that, we've been able to link with and make a lot of moves with because of AD putting the Inner Circle together. I mean, and just his whole background and resume is just insane.
No doubt, no doubt. You said a mouthful there, yo. AD is definitely a genius at his craft. He's a mastermind, and he's really made a lot of major moves in changing the music industry for countless underground artists, and you really can't say enough about that guy. But I'm going to dive right in and start interrogating you a little bit, if that's okay, man. I really appreciate you joining us for the first broadcast of Inner Circle Radio. I guess I'll start by asking, who is SDot, and where did the inspiration for your name come from?
Well, SDot is abbreviation of my name, which is Sean Delaney. I've had many names in the past as far as rap names and such, but for the most part, I try to stay away from gimmicks and things like that, so I really always went with my government, and I figured as time went on, we'll just abbreviate it to SDot and go from there. I mean, the S and the D are extremely important because they also represent my clothing line. They also represent, my son and things of that nature. So the S and the D is extremely important to me. So SDot that's where the inspiration for that came from.
Okay, I dig it. I really appreciate the fact that you don't hide behind any gimmicks, and I think that's very important for the long term. Sometimes gimmicks get artists by for a period, but they're kind of like fads. They fizzle out, and eventually the fans figure those artists out, and that could really make people look at you in a negative light and really not even give you a chance, to be heard. So,
Definitely.
The fact
it's all
that
about keeping it real in hip-hop. If you're not real, they're going to call you out on it.
That's no doubt, bro. Hip-hop fans can be very unforgiving at times.
Definitely.
Right on. So tell us a little bit about where you've been and where you're from.
Well, I'm from a small town in upstate New York called Hudson, also known as Hud City. And I've been basically born and raised here. I've been back and forth. I've lived other places in life. Been in the military and lived all over the place in that fashion, but I always ended up coming back to HUD where it all began. Really the 90s era of hip-hop is really what molded me into what I am today. And over the years, I just perfected my craft and learned how to become to learn how to make money with it and possibly afford to take care of my family with that. That's really what the dream is. So I created Hud City Entertainment in 2008. That's my independent label, and it's all based on Hud City, basically, because where I'm from is why I am who I am. So I carry that on my back at all times. And, I'm trying to put my city on the map for all those that have been waiting for me to do it for quite some time now. So, but if you say I didn't make it, you'd be wrong because, I'm doing everything I need to do right now as an independent, making plenty of moves that, would consider that I am making it. It's just waiting for that last piece of the puzzle to really lock it in. But as far as being an entrepreneur and starting from a ground up, Hud City is where I call home, and that's where I built everything from. So I represent it to the fullest.
Yo, it doesn't get any more organic than that. It
Absolutely.
sounds like everything you're doing is organic to the letter.
It is.
Much respect to you on your originality, brother. Let me ask you this. What's the music scene like where you are?
It's crazy. Actually, Hudson over the years has changed a lot, and right now it's one of the top 10 cities to visit in America. It's huge for its artistic values and music, as far as music and art and culture and things of that nature. This place is huge. A lot of people come from New York City. There's a lot of celebrities who live around here, not too far away. So as far as the music scene, I mean, it's huge. The only thing is, it's a small town, so to really get out there, that's why I end up traveling to New York City to make those moves. But the music scene is it's very eclectic. There's a lot of different people loving a lot of different music, and when I explain my music background, then you'll know why it is that I'm so universal and versatile. You know what I mean?
Word, man. That's a key factor these days, too. I think it's very important to be versatile in your music.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of that, man, let me go on and ask you, what is your music background?
Well, my music background is, if you want to go way back, when I started in a choir, you know what I mean? I started in the choir, I started singing a little bit, la-di-da, just to do my thing, but I ended up going to Virginia Beach, to an all-county choir, performance there, and, that was really good, but as I was growing up, the hip-hop scene here was so big and so in my face that I just couldn't get past it. So I ended up starting to write my own little raps and stuff, and got with a crew. We ended up, creating a band or a hip-hop duo, as you could say, and, noticed that we were pretty dope, for back in the day, but we're talking teenagers and stuff in the early 90s, 93, 94. So my music background really starts there as far as hip-hop goes. Then on the other aspect of things, I grew up waking up in the weekends hearing my father play his classic rock music, which is a huge influence for me. So classic rock as far as the Beatles, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, you name it. I grew up listening to all that, and I basically studied all of that music and really created my own sound and really just became as original as possible with what I had to work with. So as far as my versatility, that's where it all came from. So I want to shout out my pops on that one, because without his influence with everything that he let me listen to and put me onto, I would never be so eclectic as far as how many different styles I come at you with. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, man. We all have somebody who inspired us, many from a young age, and I think it's really awesome that for you, one of those people was your pops. But let me go back real quick. You mentioned earlier that you were in the military, and America just celebrated Memorial Day yesterday. We had Memorial Day weekend, and so big salute to you coming from that angle as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I served my time in the Navy, way back in the day, pretty much. Did my little stint there, and it was funny because the first person I met on the ship when I went on, I was stationed on a minesweeper in Texas, and the first person I met was a cook from Kansas City who's a rapper, and he rapped then, and he still raps now, and he's doing his thing right now. I love that guy. And it's just crazy to see that even to this day, we're talking almost 17, 18 years later, me and my man still connect, and he's doing his thing in Kansas City. So when it's in you, man. It doesn't never leave. And I ended up down there. I ended up doing music in the studio when I was in the Navy and all of that. So the music followed me, even when I tried to step away from it to see what I was meant for and all of that. The music just followed right behind me and never let me take my foot off the pedal, knowing that this is where I'm supposed to be.
Well, good, man, good. It sounds like you know yourself. It sounds like you've learned yourself. As you've grown, you've figured yourself out, and it's highly respectable that, like I mentioned before, you don't hide behind any gimmicks. It seems like you're a very original type of dude and artist, and that's a beautiful thing, especially considering the lack of originality that seems to be on the rise in today's mainstream as well as underground music scene. Let me ask you this, Sean. Is there any specific moment or time that stands out to you more than another where you realized that music and all of its many angles was a path that you knew you wanted to or was actually chosen to follow?
Yeah, I mean, where it really got serious was 2004. That's when I started traveling down to New Jersey to the Roselle borough. My man D, who I met down there, he was able to basically tell me, he was able to tell me and teach me how to fit my in the pocket of beats, and really give me the opportunity to put my music in a position where it could be heard from a real audience. So I would go down to Jersey and learn how to, work on real tracks, work on, like, this is my first time I went in the studio and, like, really, really put, my first project together and things like that. And then he would send me to the city, and I would go into the club Pyramid in the city, which is, there's something called boot camp there. And really, every rapper that knows about doing shows in the city, it really starts at boot camp. So you go there and you just basically do your thing with all these other artists. I mean, it's grimy, gritty, it's New York City, and it was, it was the best opportunity for me to get my feet wet with this. You know what I mean? So that was a big part of it. But what really set it aside, what really blasted it off and gave me the edge was I had a job working for developmentally disabled individuals, and I worked there for 5 years. During my time there, I ended up writing a song about my profession as a direct support professional, about what it is to have autism and what it is to live that life when you really have trouble speaking and you really need to rely on the people that take care of you. So I wrote a song. I called it "Open Your Eyes," and I think I wrote it in like 45 minutes maybe at the job. And I had no idea what was going to happen. But what happened was I met a film director from New Jersey who got goosebumps from the song and said, "This song's going to be huge, I'm just telling you." So I said, "Awesome." So we put the song together, and then we actually created a music video on the song where we actually used the facility where I worked at the time, and we used all the individuals at my job in the video, of course, with their permission and with their family's permission and things like that. And the video was brought to Autism Speaks, the headquarters in New York City. They placed it on YouTube, and as soon as it went on YouTube, we were #1 on YouTube in the whole world.
Wow.
I believe we had about 200,000 plays overnight, I think it was. And over time period, we've reached another close to 200,000. So over 250,000 people have heard that song. I was picked up by another company to travel around New York and out of state. We went to the capital, Washington, D.C., where I performed that song live and spoke about autism and things of that nature at conferences and things like that. The song was huge. It's currently on YouTube, and it's by far my biggest hit. It's got a couple hundred comments from families and individuals with autism and different disabilities. Right.
Don't mean to cut you off, but tell the listeners where we can go check out this track at.
Oh yeah, all you got to do is just go to YouTube, type in "Open Your Eyes," Sean Delaney, and that was back in 2007. And I think I was eating a little bit better then, so don't mind the picture, don't mind the video. But I actually played it for different people, and tears would come streaming down their face, and I'm like, wow, this song is really that powerful. And that's when I realized that like my songwriting ability is extremely strong, and over the years I perfected it, and over the years I've gained the confidence to be able to say, I know that I am an extremely good songwriter, and it is my number one passion in the world to open the eyes of people that need their eyes open, and basically give people an opportunity to hear some real music, some real powerful music that's going to give you emotions that you would only expect from a really great artist. And since then, I have pushed and pushed and pushed and created my label in 2008 and my clothing company at the same time. And since then, we're here now where we're at, and it just continues to get better and better.
That's great, yo. That's great. That's beautiful. It kind of takes me back to what I said earlier in your introduction about your song Rewind and what I like to call making music with a meaning. And that definitely sounds like that's what you're doing, and it's definitely something that's MIA in today's music scene, especially as far as mainstream radio goes anyway. We're hearing less and less good, meaningful tracks. I mean, for the exception of a few artists, and I'm not here to diss anybody or drop names, but there's a lot of whack music hitting the street, yo.
Man, it's very shameful, some of the shit that's out there these days. I can't even condone. It's pretty bad. You know what I mean? And I'm hearing some of the stuff, and I'm just like, you need to just call that a different genre, because that's not hip-hop,
Yeah, man, a lot of this garbage doesn't even need to or deserve to be released, more or less heard. I mean, in my opinion, we hear a lot of talk about dumbing down in many areas of life, and it seems like hip-hop has become a victim of the dumbing down agenda. I see a lot of these mainstream artists on YouTube dropping freestyles on major networks, and they're mumbling, and they're not even saying anything. And it's really popular with a lot of people, and a lot of people's feeling it. But, it is not meaningful music. And I don't think there's a lot more people out there that appreciate music with a meaning as opposed to the opposite of music that's not really saying anything. Yeah, it's got a good beat, and it makes you bob your head and might make you jump up and down a little bit, but it ain't telling you nothing. It ain't teaching you nothing. And I think it's the responsibility of a songwriter or a recording artist to reach the people and to teach the people, and it's really refreshing to get to talk to somebody like you that's got the knack for actually making music with a meaning. It's very important, man. It blows my top to see some of this stuff that's happening in the music industry today.
I definitely appreciate that, man. And like I was saying before, that's why I want to shout out AD, and I want to shout out the Inner Circle and artists like yourself and all the other different artists underground that don't get enough airplay. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to my boy Token, who is just coming out of the woodwork, basically with his style and everything. I mean, people can talk all day about the kid, but the fact is, it's refreshing, and that's the kind of stuff that the world's waiting to hear again. I think that there is a transition right now in hip hop, and I think that hopefully the dumbing down and all of that will cease to exist, and people will really fiend for that music that has a purpose, the lyrics, and not just the instrumental that makes your head bob or your booty shake. And that's why I remain independent, and I remain an independent ambassador for all the independents coming up that, make sure that you stay independent, create your own label, become a Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, you know what I mean?
Right.
Who build it from the ground up and do it for real, the way it should be done. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of other artists that are out right now that are definitely doing that. And, I got nothing but love for them. But there's others that are really, really, putting shade on the game right now. It's sad.
Well, that sounds like some good advice you got for some up-and-coming MCs and lyricists and recording artists and anybody looking to make some noise in this ever-changing music industry. So I know your words will not fall on deaf ears, and you know the deal, yo. Real recognize real. I can see your focus is in the right direction. The most important thing first, I think, is to make good music with meaningful lyrics that reach, lead, teach, and guide and inspire people through the worst and best times, and whatever happens next will. Yeah, so man, recently you had a track placed on the ANNO DOMINI Inner Circle Mixtape Volume 4. It was titled Rewind. I kind of spoke on that a little bit earlier in the introduction. So tell us a little bit about that track.
Well, just to let you know, too, I made it on volume 2, so definitely check that out. Just want to throw that out there.
Word. I've heard. I have heard that track. So yeah. Definitely, everybody, definitely check out the all of the Anno Domini Inner Circle mixtapes. There's volume 1 through 4 so far. SDot's on volume 2. So you can download. You can just Google search all of those. You can go on YouTube at Anno Domini Nation. They have all of the mixtapes on the YouTube. So definitely check out SDot on the Anno Domini Inner Circle Mixtape Volume 2 as well. He's now again on Volume 4. So yeah, brother, let's touch on that track, Rewind.
Well, Rewind is my latest album. My last album, The Wake Up, dropped in 2010, 2011, so I was really due for a new one. My life changed quite a bit since then. I'm currently definitely a family man, a father first and foremost, to my son, my 2 stepdaughters, and my daughter who just turned 1, and my beautiful fiance. My life revolves around them, and they support the hell out of me with everything I'm doing, and that's really all that matters, So Rewind is really basically 16 songs of original beats. Specifically, every one of the beats are Anno Domini Nation beats because of the sponsorship that I have with AD and Hud City Entertainment, of what he's been able to bless me with. And, so I just picked the heat and really just put my life between the paper's lines, you know what I mean? That's really what it is. There's a lot of different tracks on there. There's a song about bullying that turns bloody. There's a song about relationships that go from good to ugly. There's a song about being in love. There's a song about being a father. There's a song that just really just rips into everybody, that just kind of just like lets everybody know that I'm nasty on the mic, and that's really like I felt like 16 songs, and really just each one needed to have its own reason for being there. And it's really not getting enough airplay, I gotta tell you. People need to go and grab it so they can hear it for themselves. Pick up Rewind on HudCityEntertainment.com. I have it on iTunes. They're charging $10 for it. I'm only charging $5 on my website. So definitely please go pick it up, because I need the world to hear my life's work, and actually all my material is on Hud City Entertainment, which is a website I created entirely myself. I built all of my web pages and built my team and everything. So Rewind is really taking a look back at everything that I've accomplished and seeing where I'm at now, and putting it all for everybody to see where I'm at right now. I'm definitely proud of the project. I mixed and mastered it myself in my home studio. I'm definitely not a mixologist. I'm not a producer. But over the years, I've developed enough talent to put together a good tape, and so that's what I gave everybody. Bing, bang, boom. You call it organic. That's exactly what it is. Every track is blood, sweat, and tears put right down in this house where I live, and that's it.
Word. Well, I want to introduce the track to our audience. I've listened to myself more times than I know, and I can't wait to drop it for the listeners right now. So I'm going to go on and press the play button and let it do what it do. This is DV Music. You're tuned into Inner Circle Radio. This next track is by Anno Domini Inner Circle member SDot, a.k.a. Sean Delaney. Everybody open your ears. This is Rewind.
Rewind back to the days when people didn't have to be afraid to go to church and pray. Rewind it back to a place where people weren't judged by the color of their face. Rewind it straight to the birth of hip-hop, when nobody died over words, everybody tight like a Ziploc. Rewind it back to Walkmans and pages, before the era of MP3 players. Cassette tapes and boomboxes, obnoxiously loud speakers kept the room knocking. Now it's Kendrick and J. Cole who in your top 10. Rewind back to Eric B and that dude rockin'. Back to the time when rhymes mattered. Now it's busy beats, gaudy bars, and lines scattered. Rewind back when Don Trump wasn't on the ballot, and Jared the Subway King wasn't in jail tossing salad. Find something that you can rewind to, that you can rewind. Perhaps a beat that you can rhyme to. Rewind back to your past, it's right behind you. Don't be caught in the headlights, cause they were blind, they were blind. Find something that you can rewind to, that you can rewind. Perhaps a beat that you can rhyme to. Rewind back to your past, it's right behind you. Don't be caught in the headlights, cause they will blind you. Rewind back to the days of beatboxing. B-boys weren't yet addicted to that street toxin. Rewind back to R&B groups like Boys to Men and SWV, who spoke with a pen about love. It's like they made it look see-through. Next thing you know, your baby girl is dying to see you. Oh, your baby girl is dying to see you. Yeah, your baby girl is dying to see you. Rewind back to the FM dial, when baggy jeans and chain wallets were just coming in style. With Puffy and Mace fed my appetite before the days of Sirius XM satellite. Rewind back to 1996. Tell Tupac to take a different whip. Rewind back to 1997. Don't go to Cali big unless you wanna go to heaven. Find something that you can rewind to, that you can rewind. Perhaps a beat that you can rhyme to. Rewind back to your past, it's right behind you. Don't be caught in the headlights, cause they were blind, they were blind. Find something that you can rewind to, that you can rewind. Perhaps a beat that you can rhyme to. Rewind back to your past, it's right behind you. Don't be caught in the headlights, cause they will blind you. Rewind back when life was so simple. The biggest problems you had were how to get rid of that pimple. Rewind back less than 5 minutes ago. You could stop your girl from walking right out of the door. You could change your ways right before you called her a hoe, and she grabbed the things and you watched her fade away slow. Don't you wish you could rewind it back? Like how easy it is to rewind a track. Bring your man back from the dead by holding him back from going to the club and ending up with a hole in his back. Take every cigarette out of your uncle's hands if you can rewind to tell him you need to switch up your plans. Oh, you need to switch up your plans. Unc, you need to switch up your plans. Oh, you need to switch up your plans. Unc, you need to switch up your plans. Find something that you can rewind to, that you can rewind. Perhaps a beat that you can rhyme to. Rewind back to your past, it's right behind you. Don't be caught in the headlights, cause they were blind, they were blind. Find something that you can rewind to, that you can rewind. Perhaps a beat that you can rhyme to. Rewind back to your past, it's right behind you. Don't be caught in the headlights, cause they will blind you, cause they will blind you.
You just listened to Rewind by SDot, aka Sean Delaney. That is one powerful piece of artwork, yo. Check it out. You're listening to Inner Circle Radio. We got ADN IC member SDot on the phone. He's really blessing us with a lot of history and meaningful knowledge that he's obtained through his experience. And we appreciate you being here, SDot. Let me keep this moving and ask you this. Who was your biggest influence or influences in the game from day one up until the present?
Well, I first heard Biggie, Ready to Die. That was my first hip-hop album I heard, and actually, my older brother put me onto that. And that was the first rap album that really opened up my ears to what hip-hop really was. And then the influence of the town and the city of everybody just being hooked on everything that was coming out, because, you know, you got to remember, right around 90 to 94, we had some of the best music, hip-hop music that will ever be known to man. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Biggie, the Tupac, the...
Right. I'm trying to get back to that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these are the things that I grew up listening to. And then, of course, the influence of my dad's music, you know, before my time, really getting heavy into the Beatles and, you know, hearing all their different styles and how their albums all changed and how they used sampling back in the 60s. I mean, this is the type of shit that people need to know. You know, the first samplers was not Puff Daddy. It was the Beatles. Get it right.
Tell me about that, man.
The Beatles use
What do you mean by
samples?
that?
Yeah, the Beatles use samples? I wasn't aware of that.
Oh yeah, the Beatles use samples on the song number 9. They were really the first ones to start implementing that, and we're going way back in the 60s, and they basically took, I don't know, 50 or 60 different sounds and dropped them in there and put them together to make this crazy sound on a song. And there's other types of sampling in their music too, but they were the first ones to use the synthesizers and to really start, I mean, if you listen to a lot of it has kind of a hip-hop catchy vibe. And, really that's the reason why I created my mixtapes that are called The Wonder Years, which are samples, which are full professional mashups of classic rock music and hip-hop that I'm really proud of. I did Wonder Years 1 and Wonder Years 2, and Wonder Years 3 is my next project, my next mixtape that I'm going to be dropping. And I've sampled everything from Creedence Clearwater Revival to you name it, Elton John, Pink Floyd, Zeppelin, Peter, Paul, and Mary. I mean, I'm talking about songs that you really got to go back into the archives to hear. And, I thought it would just be great to bring those songs back and then put my own little twist on them. So definitely the Wonder Years, those are all free, available on my website also.
Word. Hey, thanks for that education earlier too, man. I did not know that about the Beatles, man. I know they're one of the most iconic bands ever, but I didn't know that about them, man. So thanks for that education, and definitely y'all go check out go to Hud City. What is HudCity.com?
At HudCityEntertainment.com.
Okay, y'all definitely go out to HudCityEntertainment.com and check out these mixtapes and check out everything that SDot, aka Sean Delaney, has to offer in the music world, and he's doing some big things, making some big moves. I know your family and friends must be very proud of you, and I know that your fan base is probably growing on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about your clothing line. I know you got a clothing line. I know I just bought a hoodie from you. I can't wait to get it in. I've seen a lot of your samples of your gear. Tell us a little bit about your clothing line.
Yeah, absolutely. I started the clothing line just kind of on a whim in Hudson back in 2008 when I started the label. I said I might as well start a clothing line too. So actually, it just happened to be the right time and place to be able to have a little startup funds and a startup mom and pop company to start helping me out. And it really started with the hoodie that you're about to get in the mail. It really started with that sweater, my signature on the front. And we're talking about letters on the sleeve that are made out of basically paper back in 2008. I mean, we're going way back to where it all started. You're talking about vintage Sean Delaney gear. And the hoodie that you'll be receiving is definitely, you'll be able to see the quality, and the ink on there is just, it's unparalleled at anything. So, just really excited to see where it all started and where we are now. Sincerely Dedicated is the name of our company. And once again, you have the S and the D that create Sincerely Dedicated. To come up with a logo, I decided that I would take the ultimate symbol that everyone knows in music, the treble clef. If you flip a treble clef around, it is an S and a D. So that is the Sincerely Dedicated company. If you look closely at my logo, you will see it, the S and the D.
I'm seeing it in my head right now, man. You're exactly right.
When you flip my music, you get fashion. So when you flip the music, you get fashion. So when you flip the treble clef, you're onto the line. And really, that's where it all started. And we started out real small, and we've grown tremendously. I mean, from just building it from the ground up, I'm extremely excited. We just dropped our Dedicated to Music line, which is 5 brand spanking new graphic t-shirts that are just hot off the press. All of them depict a different way about music. We have In Music We Trust, freedom of speech, which has an eagle, and the American flag on there, which basically everyone is dedicated to music. It has Sincerely Dedicated on every shirt. We also have Music is Religion, and that has the Pope's hands that carry the rosary beads, but the rosary beads are actually Sincerely Dedicated chain. And we have a hipster slash pop artist that is depicted on there as well, just to let you know about the era that we live in. There's another shirt which is an ode and paying homage to the 80s. It says, "Sweet dreams are made of this," which is, of course, a line from the Eurythmics song "Sweet Dreams" that came out in the 80s. I'm actually an 80s baby.
The classic.
So I thought that
that's a classic joint right there.
Went hand in hand with each other. So each T-shirt is really a depiction of my life that I have been able to build and create and put forth for the world to put on their backs. And it's really just incredible what we've been able to create. We also create handmade Shambhala bracelets, which are amazing because it's actually me who hand makes these bracelets. You could choose any color, custom color. They have an authenticity tag with our Sincerely Dedicated logo on them, which makes them one-of-a-kind, unique pieces of fashion, of jewelry. And we also just stepped into anklets for females that are absolutely incredible. I can't even believe that I'm making this stuff. But I am, and everything is looking amazing. And the future is bright for Sincerely Dedicated, big time. We've done some fashion stuff in New York City. We've done all kinds of different things all over the place. And really, the next step is to get Sincerely Dedicated to the world. We have the Dedicated to Music line, and the next step is creating a Dedicated to the Working Class line, which, stepping away from music just a little bit and focusing on the working class heroes, the police officers, the firefighters, the medics, the soldiers, everybody. So our slogan remains, everyone is dedicated to something, and that is what Sincerely Dedicated is all about. My passion, my influence, my everything that I put into it, that's what dedication is, and there's millions of people that can relate to dedication. It's the only way to get by in life.
Definitely everybody go check out Sincerely Dedicated clothing.
Yeah, it's www.sincerelydedicated.com. You can also hit us up on Facebook at /Sincerely Dedicated, and you can hit up my Facebook at /SDot Global, SDOT Global. Also, I'm on Twitter as Mr. Hud City. Also, I'm on Instagram as Mr. Hud City, and we're also on Twitter as SD Clothing Co. and Instagram as SD Clothing Co. And our Instagram is a great place. We've been able to reach out to a lot of people. It's actually pretty popping over there. You definitely go check us out. You can see all our stuff on there in an Instagram sort of way, which is a great app for individuals. So once again, for advice, definitely make sure that all your social networks are up to par.
Word, man, word. Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to get to speak with you tonight. It's not every day that you get to meet someone so pure in their elements as you are and seem to be. I can tell that you've put in a lot of hard work, and a lot of energy and thought into everything that you do. Everybody go check out Sean Delaney, SDot, Sincerely Dedicated, Hud City Entertainment, all of his many different networks. Definitely some inspiration to be found there. Definitely go feed off some of his energy. It'll take you to a good place. I appreciate you coming on with us tonight, man, at the first broadcast of Inner Circle Radio. I'm going to let you go here in a second. I do want to ask you one more thing, man. What kind of advice would you like to share with up-and-coming, striving, struggling artists?
Never give up. Continue to push your dreams no matter what anybody tells you. Remain dedicated to your craft and really just hone in on your skills. You need to know exactly what you're good at, and try not to get overwhelmed with too many things that you want to do with your life. Try to focus on the things that you know are working, because as you get older and you grow as an entrepreneur, as an artist, you'll see certain things that aren't working. So you really need to be able to push yourself to figure out what it is that works for you as an individual. And, that's the best advice I can give, because it's put me on the path to my success. And, I'm still walking that path, but it's been a joyride so far. And Also, be prepared for failure, be prepared for rejection, be prepared for the low blows and the rock bottoms, because all of that is hand in hand with success. You cannot succeed unless you fail. You need to know that.
Words of wisdom, everybody. Sean Delaney, SDot, Hud City Entertainment, Sincerely Dedicated Clothing. Go on and sign out with them, Sean Delaney.
Yo, yo, Inner Circle fam, the world, worldwide. This is SDot, Sean Delaney, representing Hud City Entertainment, Sincerely Dedicated Company. Just giving a shout out to my boy DV Musick, Inner Circle Radio, man. It's going down. This is the new wave. Get used to it.
ANNODominination.com.
This is DV Musick, Anno Domini Nation, Inner Circle Radio.